Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5:30.
We begin tonight with a developing story out of Pembina County. The sheriff says a wife shot her husband this morning following several domestic incidents at their farmstead. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Although police aren't releasing the names of the people involved, they say it happened at the Brandon Thompson farmstead, just 8 miles northwest of St. Thomas, North Dakota. Sheriff Terry Mettinger says the man returned home and found his wife with another man. He says there was an argument and the wife shot him in the back. The sheriff says the man who was shot has already been released from All True Hospital in Grand Forks. He says they've received several calls regarding domestic violence at that residence. Now, the county prosecutor tells us that a charge of attempted murder will be filed against the husband, and there is the possibility of other charges against his wife who shot him and also against a second man who was involved in the incident. Formal charges and details are expected tomorrow morning, and we'll keep you updated with any new information on this story. We have a closer look at a Grand Forks road rage incident this week and some alarming numbers for you. AAA says nearly 80% of drivers have expressed significant anger, aggression, or road rage while they're behind the wheel during this past year. Valley News Team's Neil Carlson shows us what's happening out on the roads and also what you need to know.
According to court documents, this is what happened on Highway 2 near Grand Forks Tuesday afternoon. Keith Rosencrans of Towner was trying to pass Airman Damon Sawyer. Rosencrans says Sawyer was going 68 in a 70-mile-per-hour zone and wouldn't let him pass. Rosencrans says his passenger laid on the car horn. And when he finally got beside Sawyer's vehicle, Sawyer was holding a pistol pointed at the hood of his car. Sawyer now faces a felony terrorizing charge.
Yeah, aggressive driving has a tendency to lead to confrontation, so we would certainly encourage the public to drive defensively, build in a little extra time for the trip so you're not in a hurry, drive in a courteous manner.
This is an extreme case of road rage caught on tape in Australia, but there are many other cases right here in the U.S. where people have wound up being shot and killed. In fact, AAA says 45 to 50% of all drivers in the U.S. just during the past year have tailgated another driver, yelled at another driver, or honked their horn in anger. Lieutenant Zimmel says if you find yourself in a situation with an aggressive driver behind you, tailgating and honking the horn, relax, let them go by. He says these type of situations can quickly spin out of control.
We practice and preach defensive driving, safe driving.
And relax.
Relax. It's a lot less stressful to slow down a little bit, calm down, and make it to your way safely.
In Grand Forks, Neil Carlson, Valley News Live.
AAA says that every year nearly 6 million drivers in the U.S. bump or ram another vehicle on purpose during road rage incidents. Well, today was a frosty start, but we've warmed up pretty nicely. Justin, how does this evening look?
And thank you, Christine, and good evening, everybody. Well, this evening we've got mainly clear skies. We're going to keep the mild conditions for at least a couple more hours before temperatures start to fall. We're at 57 degrees right now at Fargo, Alexandria, 54 at Jamestown, 48 Devils Lake, and a 53 at Bemidji. Much warmer air as you make your way into South Dakota with temperatures into the mid to upper 60s. That wind mainly from the south right now. We are starting to warm up compared to yesterday where we were about 10 degrees cooler. So mainly temperature or mainly winds between 5 and 15 miles per hour with slightly higher gusts. Taking a look at the satellite loop, we are seeing a few more passing clouds down toward the Sisseton area, but mainly clear skies will be the story as we go through this evening and through the overnight, with lows a little warmer near 40. Now we're going to start to warm it up as we go into the weekend. We'll have the details coming up.
All right. Thanks, Justin.
Yep.
Amateur video shows the deserted streets of Hamilton as Category 3 Hurricane Nicole battered Bermuda today. Residents battened down the hatches, taping plastic sheeting across their door and blocking gaps with towels to try to avoid the water flooding their homes. Schools and government offices closed yesterday as businesses boarded up. American Airlines and Air Canada are among several carriers that have canceled flights to the island, and several cruise ships have also canceled trips as well. An 88-year-old woman from Hope, North Dakota is dead after a crash this past weekend in Barnes County. We told you Saturday about 2 people being life flighted to Fargo after a 2-car crash at the intersection of Highway 32 on County Road 6 just north of Oriska. The 52-year-old driver of a GMC was driving westbound, didn't stop, and T-boned the woman's Buick. The two people in the Buick were flown to Sanford Hospital. The two other people in the GMC suffered minor injuries. A funeral was held today for 52-year-old Paul Morlock. He's the father of NDSU Bison running back Chase Morlock. Here's video of Paul's funeral this afternoon at St. Joseph's Catholic Church in Moorhead. Paul's family says he was a lifelong Moorhead resident and enjoyed attending Bison football games as well as hunting and fishing. Players on the Bison football team say they're always going to be there for Chase going forward.
You know, it's not something that you can really bring up to the guy, but just knowing, just giving him a high five or just hugging him, just letting him know that you're always there for him. And he's such an inspirational player. He's a Bison through and through. And
Paul passed away from stage 4 colorectal cancer on October 8th. He left behind his wife, Jean Morlock, along with 4 children. Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton has been a strong advocate for President Obama's Affordable Care Act. But Wednesday, the Democrat says he is now against it, saying it's no longer affordable for many Americans. Now, other critics are speaking out against it, too. Jay Olstad has more.
Award-winning author Brian Freeman knows how to write a thriller. But as he perfects his latest novel, he's experiencing his own drama off the page.
I've written to my state senator, I've written to my state representative to encourage them to be pushing the governor for a special session.
A special session to help fix the problem of growing health care costs in Minnesota.
My most recent book.
An author of several novels, he and his wife are self-employed and therefore buy their own insurance. Their costs have skyrocketed.
We're starting out by paying about $15,000 in premiums. Then several more $1,000s in deductible before we ever start to see any actual value from the policy.
Similar increases for folks who buy insurance through MNsure, where some qualify for discounts to offset the price hike set by insurance companies.
It's got some serious blemishes right now.
Today, one of the Affordable Care Act's most fervent supporters, Governor Mark Dayton, became one of its critics.
The reality is the Affordable Care Act is no longer affordable to increasing numbers of people.
Dayton says while there are good things about Obamacare, like providing insurance for people with pre-existing conditions, too much of the burden falls on people like Brian.
He says it's unaffordable. He's absolutely right about that.
Which is why he's hopeful to hear Dayton is considering a special session after the election to tackle the issue, as Brian wonders if he'll be able to continue to do what he loves, if it costs him so much to do so.
Plenty of drama, but I'd prefer to keep the thrills on the page and not what we're facing in real life.
That was Jay Olstad reporting. Stick with Valley News Live for updates on the Affordable Care Act. Today, WikiLeaks unleashed another set of damaging emails from Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, John Podesta. So far, 9,000 Podesta emails have been leaked to the website. In one email exchange, Clinton aides talked about how the former Secretary of State had a cordial relationship with the Attorney General Loretta Lynch. Lynch came under fire earlier this year after a private meeting with former President Bill Clinton while his wife was under investigation for mishandling of classified information. Meanwhile, several news networks are under fire for not reporting the email scandal. A quick search of the website for NBC News this afternoon showed no stories related to the WikiLeaks scandal, forcing some people on social media to call out the organizations for ethical lapses. Donald Trump served up full-throated defense of his character after a 24-hour stretch in which multiple women accused him of sexual misconduct. The Republican presidential nominee used a South Florida rally to blast the accusations as a coordinated smear effort by establishment forces to deny him the White House. He also claims to have substantial evidence to refute the accusations, which he will make public at what he calls a, quote, appropriate time. Trump says the establishment is so consumed with maintaining power and boosting Hillary Clinton that he has been subject to what he calls vicious and vile false attacks.
These vicious claims about me of inappropriate conduct with women are totally and absolutely false.
Trump continued to cite the content in the WikiLeaks dump of personal emails of Clinton's campaign manager to claim she's corrupt and deserves to be prosecuted. He'll make his case again later today during campaign stops in Ohio. The Russian Foreign Ministry says the United States is conducting a scorched earth policy This is in relation to Russia during the final months of President Obama's administration. A foreign ministry spokeswoman told reporters today that this is, quote, very dangerous. She says the United States is blocking the release of money to projects in Russia from the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. Ties between Washington and Moscow have deteriorated among the collapse of the failed ceasefire in Syria and U.S. accusations that Russia is meddling in the U.S. presidential election next month. Some veterans had access to free dental care today. The VA does not cover dental benefits unless a veteran is 100% disabled. The event was hosted by Aspen Dental, and it's a part of their Healthy Mouth movement. The 42-foot dentist office sat in front of the Cass County Courthouse. This is inside. 2 patients could be seen at a time, and x-rays and dentures could be done on site. This is the 28th stop for the Mouth Mobile, which is traveling across the country. Dentists tried to treat the most urgent needs for the patients in the 40-minute appointment. Aspen Dental also offers a free day of care to veterans in the month of June. From bone-chilling to beautiful, no matter what disguise you're wearing for Halloween, there are plenty of options at local thrift stores. Savers has both new and used costumes. Some popular ones this year include Vikings and Mad Max. You may just need a few key pieces, such as a vest or a fake weapon. Savers has costume consultants to help you find the right disguise for your family right on a budget.
Stop in at Savers, come and bring a donation with you, and when you donate to us, you're helping out the local YWCA, our local nonprofit partner, and in return we'll give you a 20 up to 30% off coupon to use on all used merchandise.
Savers thrift store closes tonight at 9 p.m. More replacement Galaxy Note 7 phones have blown up, so a federal agency is stepping in. What they're telling you to do if you have one, still ahead tonight.
And we had a cold start this morning, but high temperatures are going to reach the upper 50s, near normal for this time of year, and temperatures are going to continue to go up as we go through the next couple of days. Details next.